YouTube, welcome to Skynet. As most of you have seen, we've made a few videos in the past. I've never really ever spoken on it because I never really had the confidence. However, things have changed. I've got a beer, I'm in the mood, and I'm willing to show you my creative build that we've done for our reactor. Mr. Tesla, who usually helps me build stuff, is currently asleep at the moment because he works night shift and he's a slacker. This is the main base that we've got. It's mostly mine. Mr. Tesla's is over further somewhere else, and I'm receiving some lag. Building beer over there, and my greens are in there, making hops, all sorts of fancy stuff, as well as a little mini reactor over there and some strainers. But the main reason this video is the reactor area. Now, here at Skynet we don't build little, we build big. And judging by the fact that nothing's rendering, I'm having a bad day with internet. Don't join without an internet if you're in Adelaide, just so you know. Anyway, I'm impatient. I've only done one side. This isn't the side I've done. Just walking to the side I have done. Anyway, as you can see, I've got 4 reactors, all working, running swell, all drawing out lots and lots of EU. Now they're called by ice and a mod. I'm not too sure what the mod's called, but I think if you type in reactor, yes, there you go. It's the MFS reactor containment field projector. That's what I've been using for that, and what that does is allow you to fill the reactor up fully with uranium cells and then cool it underneath with ice and everything. And I'll turn them off later and click around and show you what's there. Now, I got lazy and got sick of having to fill them up and empty them all the time, so what I did is using equivalent exchange, which is pretty much how everything's made that I've got here. I am producing uranium cells. Now, it wasn't until the other day that I actually found out you can make uranium, because it finally now has a EMC value. So over here in my little uranium cell creating room, I have got uranium being created, tin being created, the tin's being pumped into an automatic crafting table, or Mark II I believe it is, which makes cells, which gets pumped out every second. Then I've got a compressor, it's loaded up to the max of the overclockers. Overclockers take a long time to make, and I'm not going to explain how to do it because they're just too hard. But anyway, moving right along. Got the backlog of uranium. So pretty much with equivalent exchange, you could say you're in creative mode with a bit of waiting. And then yeah, there you go. There's all uranium. And using retrievers, when the big brain fart, when the reactor empties out, the retrievers will automatically fill it back up again. But what do you do with the horrible cells? Well, that's where scrap comes into the picture. Good thing is about these recyclers, you can put pretty much anything you want in there and it will recycle it into scrap, as you know. Now I don't need scrap because I'm not planning on making EU matter or doing anything with that. I'm using equivalent exchange. The retriever that's buried deep underground somewhere will pull all the dead uranium cells out, pump them into here, and then any random scrap that's left over will be pumped into another one and so forth. And if you're getting to here, then you're getting a lot of rubbish come through, which I don't think is going to happen. So that's the bin, you could call it. Call that bin room, I think. I haven't called that anything yet. A cooling, also using equivalent exchange. This is what's producing all the ice to go into the reactors. Running off a clock. I think it's running at about, was that 1 second? Looks like I've just got rid of some dirt from somewhere. I'll fix that later. As you can see, using Mark III relays, Mark III relays and Mark III collectors, ice isn't an issue. I can pull as much out of there as I want and it really doesn't matter. Because I haven't hooked up the second reactor room yet, it's not quite hooked up to the second lot, but it will be eventually if I get around to it. There's my auto lights too, they turn themselves on, which is pretty cool. Another mod with red power, I believe. Now, this is a charging room. MFUs take a long time to make. I'm very proud of this room, so I'm going to sit here and look at it for a second. Okay, I've looked at it. Basically, from what I've read and looked around with, setting it up like so, in a sort of SE style pattern, not looping everything up, allows a little bit less lag on both server and client. I'm doing a little test here which seems to be working if you reverse a high voltage transformer and then reverse it back again. The transformers actually charge up and send out power, and from what I've seen, instead of making 16,000 EU, I think it was, I'll be making 17, 18 on random spots. Let's find something to... I think I gave myself op so I could actually show you stuff. So lapis, there it is. So with a souped up charging bench, you can start charging that, and I believe so on there we go. So used to not using creative anymore. Oh, I need to give it upgrades, which means I also need them too, so I can go there. There you go. So soup that up, and now it's full. Oops. There you go, 18,000, and then it's empty. That's a really bad example, I think. I know, use what everyone loves using. Let's get a mass on there. Now my inventory's full of crap again. Okay, there we go, now we're making stuff. So that's, so as you can see, it goes up and down a bit. Looks like I got 20,000 there all up. Whereas going into it, there's 9 that side and a solid 9 that side. So they do help out a bit, but you also lose a bit at the same time. And that's making it real quick, not that I use it. But power is nothing without control, so we head over to the control room. As you can see, I'm using whatever these, I think they're called monitors. Take a fair bit to craft up. Is it monitors? Yeah, there. Oh, is that it there? Yeah, there you go. That's how you make them. Not too bad. Unfortunately, I don't think they don't have any EMC value, so you can't just dupe them using the equivalent exchange. And I've got these monitors here. What these will do is when they hit a certain temperature, 3000 degrees, they will send out a redstone signal, which is brilliant if you don't want to blow holes in your map. They require EU input as well, which I'll show you the room for that later. So yeah, it's 4 reactors all running, not even hitting 3000 degrees, running on ice, and they're putting out no E. Oh, they output 2,400 EU each, which is pretty good out of a reactor. So if you do the math there, you got a fair bit of coming out of it. I, however, suck at maths. So to run them, I have cheaped out a bit because not all stuff is grown on trees. It's got a whole heap of bat boxes being run by a whole heap of water strainers, which are just really easy to make. They're pretty cool, and they're being pumped in by a heap of water over there. Unlimited supply of water, you could call it. I mean, you only really need 1 bat box to run them, but as I said, Skynet, we're going to do much in small form. Now I'll turn them off and show you just what it looks like inside everything else. So that's the only glitch you have, unfortunately, with using the cores to cool them down. Not that it's really running that hot, but a random reactor, if it's at the hot stage because it jumps between 0 and 2000 or something, will stay there until it slowly cools itself down after being switched off. And then using all the paths, not. So, there you go. That's all the reactors in a, I guess you could say, semi-safe state, all off. So that's the dead uranium cell out, which is in a retriever somewhere else. That's brand new fresh uranium cell in. That's ice that'll be going in and out, going into a reactor heat control, so you can set it to heater if you want to run the type of reactors that recharge your uranium cells. I, however, prefer to use equivalent exchange, so I keep it on cooler, and it fills up with ice, and you can set your temperature range that you want. I prefer 0, obvious reasons. This is the core, this is the main containment field, this is the balls of everything. Basically this sends out the force field, so if the reactor does blow up, even though it shouldn't because it stops it, it'll not put big holes everywhere. So So yeah, no big holes anywhere. Now, to feed all this, I need to sort out, or have sorted out, an intricate style of piping, which you've all been basically explained about, and trying to get through it is like a bloody maze. Mazes are cool though, like bow ties. So here I have found the issue that, because I haven't got any of the accelerators, which I could probably use now that I know about them, to bring all the ice all the way down here to the reactors, I've set up a backlog here, which is just all the ice gets pumped in there, then gets pumped out, so there's always a backlog basically. And you got everything down here. This one goes off to, I believe, the uranium creating room, which is up there. I like trying to keep things as neat as possible, otherwise you end up tripping over everything. This is the reverse switching and technical lingo room, which is going to grow over time. Basically, the reactor cores require a redstone signal when they're on, whereas a reactor doesn't. So when you turn the reactor on, it needs to reverse the signal. And well, if you don't know anything about redstone, it's pretty straightforward. If not, ask, I'll let you know. This is going off to the bin. This is going off to the main control room. So yeah, pretty much everything's all organised, neat, colour-coded, organised into their own genre and where to go. It's the looks like I missed a few blocks there. That's right, I'll make some more. This all took so long to make. I cannot explain how long all of just this. I would quite happily make the entire top area again, as opposed to making everything in here, because it just takes so long to make everything. But that's the joys of Minecraft. It's not something that's done in 2 minutes. It's randomly flashing down there. Everything's made and created by hand, legitimately. So yeah, I think that should pretty much fold it in for today. If there is anything else you would like created, or tutorials done for anything, let me know, and I'll hop on. I'll try and get Mr. Tesla on as well, and see if we can't make it a bit more entertaining after a good Friday night on the booze or something. And I will smell you all YouTubers along. I couldn't even say that properly. Looks like I've had way too much to drink already and I'm on my first one. You all have fun, YouTubers. I'll smell you on.